40, 30, 20.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second episode in this full flight from RJAA, aka Narita International Airport in Tokyo, Japan, all the way to Manila. We are in this beautiful Japan Airlines flight 741. I always forget that number for some reason. I was even forgetting it in the previous episode. But yeah, we've started our descent. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the cruise cinematics as we started coming down. The aircraft has been behaving rather poorly, I have to say. Look at the erratic turns it's trying to make and stuff like that. However, it has been pretty interesting trying to get it to work and trying to understand its quirks and getting it to behave and stuff like that. So I guess that's a positive. we're going to go ahead and slow down our speed here as we start coming in. So we are going to come down to around about 280 knots. And our heading bug, obviously, we're going to go ahead and adjust based on where we're coming in. According to our SimBrief flight plan, we're supposed to be around about 19,000 feet at the Anning waypoint. So since we're coming in there, we have set 19,000 feet on our MCP here, and we're descending at a rate of about 2,000 feet per minute. So that's the current situation right now. I have turned on the seatbelt signs so that the passengers can sit down, since we're going to be arriving shortly. The elapsed time so far has been around about 4 hours and 9 minutes, so that's a lot of time. I haven't just been sitting here. I've been doing other things. I went out. I got a new dorm today, so I'm going to be moving out of this current place. I'm living in a friend's place right now. I will be moving out to my own place for the next 4 months, so that was pretty exciting. I went there with my girlfriend, checked the place out, and I will be moving in officially over this weekend, which is Saturday. But you, of course, will be seeing this video on Friday, or maybe actually Sunday. I don't know when I'm going to upload this part, so... we have some beautiful mountains over there, so we're coming up over the Asian terrain / topography. Some clouds in the distance as well. So looking at the METAR information, I see that... let me just pull up the METAR. Stand by. Alright, so according to the METAR information, the temperature right now is around about 29 degrees at Manila. We have a QNH of 1006 hectopascals. No significant weather observed. We have clouds broken at 10,000 feet, scattered at 2,300 feet. Decent visibility, so we have 10 kilometers worth of visibility here. Yeah, so it's not too bad. We do have a 10-knot crosswind. However, looking at the runway we're going to be landing on, ILS runway 24, the weather is permitting because we have the winds coming from a direction of 240 degrees as well. So should not be that bad. Actually, I think that affords a tailwind if I'm not mistaken. So actually could also be a headwind. You never know. Anyways, we're going to also start getting our altitude down further, down to around about at Ayif. We're supposed to be at, let me just check this real quick, at 19,900 feet at Ayif. So I actually have descended a little bit too fast. I was under the impression that we're supposed to be 19,000 feet at this altitude. So that's okay. We can take this opportunity to continue slowing down and continue coming down. At Medam, we're supposed to be at 17,900 feet. And at Mikey, we're supposed to be at 11,900. So let's just slow down, sort of drop down to an altitude of 13,000 feet, which happens to be our transition level today. We've also gone ahead and set auto brake 1 for today. And I am now going to be going ahead and setting up our decision height. So our decision height is 375 feet minimum decision altitude. So we're going to go ahead and set that here. I don't know if it's going to give me that information anywhere here. I'm trying to move this, though I doubt it's actually changing any data here. So there we go. That's radio. I don't think it changes the radio. So I'll go ahead and set Baro. Baro is 375 feet. So let's go ahead and set that there. Just a little bit of scrolling. I don't know if you guys can see, it's over there. So 375 will be set momentarily. Here we go. And we can actually slow down our rate of descent here as well as we start coming down. So we're descending a little bit too fast. Let's go ahead and get down to around about 1,200 feet per minute. We're getting a little bit of turbulence up here. That's to be expected considering we are coming into a little bit of shoddy weather. But yeah, I will advise you guys about the situation as we continue coming in. For now, enjoy the rest of the descent. Alright, so coming down to 15,300 feet, and we can start to see some actual scenery over there in the distance, so we can start to see Manila, or at least few bits of it under the clouds. We can't really see it too properly, but at least we see stuff other than just plain mountains. See some towns and stuff over there in the distance. Anyway, so we're at around 280 knots right now, so we can go ahead and start slowing down a little bit further here as well, maybe down to 270 knots or so. And as we approach our transition level at 13,000 feet, or flight level 130, I should say, It's also important to note that we need to change our local barometric pressure reading to 1006. So yeah, that's about it. As we dip below 10,000 feet, we'll also go ahead and take a few other important settings that we need to be taking. So it's a pretty simple approach. As you guys can see over here, we go straight, we come back, and we do this rectangular approach, and runway 24 is right over there. So we should be able to see runway 24. Actually, we can't again because of the clouds. Apologies for giving you guys hope every 2 seconds and taking it away, but runway 24 should be somewhere right over there. And once we arrive, the runway length happens to be around about, let me just check that, 3,410 meters. So it's plenty long. That's why we're taking only auto brake 1, as you guys can see over here. And once we land, we just have to vacate right, and we should have the international passenger terminal right in front of us. So not too much to do in that regard. And we're also approaching 13,600 feet here, so we'll continue getting down maybe to about 9,000 feet. According to the charts, our glide slope capture altitude happens to be 2,500 feet at Zulu, which is here. So we're supposed to be at 2,500 feet at Zulu at this point, and by that time we are also supposed to slow down and stuff like that, so it's better if we start coming down early, especially with an aircraft that is already slippery. The Boeing aircraft tend to be very slippery, but also this aircraft doesn't handle like a proper study level airliner, so it's always better to be prepared early. But there you go, you can start to see some actual towns, some colors, some personality within Manila, and so far, so good. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so we're down below 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and take our landing lights. We'll also go ahead and take our... Actually, we can leave the runway turn-offs and taxi lights for now. We'll also go ahead and take the wing lights. And we're dropping to around about 220 knots. Our final approach speed today is going to be, let me just check that real quick once again, it's going to be 137 knots, so with wind corrections, we are coming at an approach speed of 142 knots. So that's what we're going to be dialing into our MCP. We're going to be taking our right turn here momentarily. And yeah, the passengers towards the right side and the left side are enjoying beautiful views of the vistas that are these rolling hills at Manila, so looks very, very nice. So the airport happens to be just behind us, probably somewhere over there, enshrouded in those clouds. So hopefully we are able to come in smoothly. Hopefully we are able to combat these IMC conditions appropriately. So for now, we should probably actually only get to around about 6,800 feet, considering these altitude constraints are probably important in a place like this where there's so many mountains. We don't want to be coming down too low because the mountains might take us out. But I think we should be okay. I think we should be threading the needle, so to speak. But yeah, there we go. We're taking another turn. I should have a replay available for you guys as usual, but everything is pretty much set. Now, the only thing I'm worried about is the ILS, frequency as well as course. Now, according to the Navigraph charts, the course happens to be 241 degrees. However, the automatic course capture by the aircraft is saying 240 degrees, as you can see over here. So the only thing I'm worried about is it not giving us localizer and glide slope, and if that happens, we're going to be flying in complete IMC conditions, as you can see in those clouds, without any instrument support. So I'm going to have to clear some of the weather manually probably, and see if we can't come in for a manual landing or something like that. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge as we begin to come down, but I think we should be able to combat it appropriately, given my skills. Though I don't have any with this aircraft, but I guess that would make for an entertaining episode for you guys sitting on the other side of the screen. So buckle in, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a hell of a ride. Alright, so we should now get down to 2,500 feet, which is our next prominent altitude. Let's go ahead and take vertical speed again, and let's see if we can't get below these mountains here at a slow speed. We don't want to get there too fast. Our green banana indicator tells us that we can get to that altitude at a decent time here. So let's go ahead and take 1,000 feet per minute and get there. We want to be able to clear these mountains first, obviously, but the runway happens to be right in front of us. Around about, it's actually 25 nautical miles away. Let's slow down our rate of descent. We don't want to get there too fast. And our speed doesn't seem to be wanting to come down below 220 knots either, so that's a little bit of a challenge. Might have to use speed brakes. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is not an accurate representation of what it feels like to fly a 787. I'm sure when the quality Wings 787 comes out, it's going to have a much better flight model that's going to lend itself to a more realistic flying experience. But unfortunately, this freeware 787 with the heavy division mod, as good as it might be for regular flyers, it's not the best when it comes to, you know, recreating an authentic 787 experience. And it shouldn't be, of course. Everybody's doing it out of their own time without charging for anything. So it's, as long as it's decent, I'm happy. So we're at 200 knots. Let's now slow down to around about 180 knots. We are desperately fast at the moment, so we should be coming down. There we go. Now we're dropping the speed. That's good. And we're maintaining 5,800 feet, which is not good. So let's try to see if we can't get the vertical speed at 700 to 1,200 feet per minute, because if we don't come down below to that point, then this might become a challenge. So we're not seeing any glide slope or localizer indicators popping up, and that is a little bit scary. So hopefully that happens soon. If it doesn't, then it's going to be a bit of a challenge. And I don't know why we're pitching up. I think it's trying to maintain the rate of speed while also compensating for the vertical speed. So it's trying to do everything together, and obviously the flight model isn't as developed. So we're suffering a little bit, but that's okay. I've taken flap 5 here. We're waiting for any sort of glide slope indication to come alive, and if it does, we'll go ahead and take approach mode. But if it doesn't, then I guess it's all on us. And I hope that we see some sort of indication of land. All right, let's slow down our rate of descent again to 800 feet. Let's also go ahead and take these lights, since now we're aligned with the runway, supposedly. We have a few clouds we're coming through. This is very, very nice. Let's also go ahead and take traffic at our airport, so when we land, we have some beautiful traffic to look at. That's going to absolutely demolish my FPS. There you go. There's that massive stutter. And we're not even going to go ahead and take a look at the FPS, because we know it's going to be bad. So what's the point of taking a look at it? I can already feel how bad it is. That's okay. So 180 knots, 170 we can continue coming down to. We're on the extended center line. We still don't have any indication of any glide slope indications or anything like that, which is a little worrying. And with the way the weather's looking, 2,500 feet, there we go. With the way the weather's looking, it doesn't look to be too nice. Alright, this time might as well come down to 2,500 feet and coast. Auto brake 1 is set. If it's raining, actually might as well take auto brake 2. There we go, we have localizer. Let's go ahead and take localizer. Where is the localizer indication? Need to look for that probably. There's approach. Oh, there's localizer. Nice. There we go. Approach mode is set. Let's see what happens. Here we go.
2,500.
Alright, the radio altimeter is going wild, as is expected. 3,700 feet. Continue to come down below 2,500 feet. There's the runway. We can see it over there. And I hope we see the approach mode here. That's a good sign, though. At least we have the localizer in some capacity. Alright, so weather radar is active, as we can see here. The terrain radar is absolutely going nuts here. All the lights are active. FPS is horrible. We're looking good. Let's go ahead and slow down a little bit more. If we don't get the glide slope, might as well just take flap 15 and gear down. Alrighty, so we have gear down. We're coming down to 2,500 feet at Zulu. And after that, if we don't see anything, at least we have a good visual of the runway in front of us, so we should be able to perform a manual landing. It looks to be extremely far. Yeah, I think that's 4 reds on the Pappies. So not very good in terms of... there's the glide slope over there. Wow, we are way below the glide slope. It's okay. It's dropping down a little bit, I hope. So we'll go ahead and maintain this 160 knots. The throttles are going to have to do a little bit of work to keep us here. But that's okay. We descended a little bit early, didn't know the capabilities of this aircraft yet. We'll do a better job in the future. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. So as you can see, the glide slope indicator is now completely pink. I'm so glad that this worked. Once we capture it, we'll go ahead and start slowing down a little bit further and also dropping the rest of the flaps. The speed brakes are armed. Runway heading is set to 241 degrees, and we'll also go ahead and set the missed approach altitude, which is 4,000 feet. Local barometric pressure is set to 1,006 feet. Decision altitude is 375 feet, and we're pretty much ready to go. So we'll go ahead and start slowing down further. We'll start coming back down to our final approach speed of 142 knots. If you guys remember, our landing speed is 137 knots. So 142 knots there looks good. And we'll also drop our speed. Sorry, our flaps. That's what I meant. So flaps can come down to flap 20. And I should have a replay on the top left-hand corner of the screen for you guys to enjoy. And yeah, we're 2 reds and 2 whites on the Pappies. Looks good. Manila looks fantastic. Look at it. Oh, look at those water masking textures over there in the distance. Looks very, very nice. Alright, so speed is dropping nicely down to 150 knots now. We have a bit of we have a headwind, so I guess that's a good thing we're flying. Actually, that's a bad thing, considering you don't usually want a headwind. Getting a little bit of rain. Start hearing it. Here we go. Let's go ahead and take flap 40 as well. Getting that balloon effect going. Trying to capture that glide slope again. There we go. Weather's refreshing. And we look to be all good. So we'll go ahead and disconnect autopilot. I don't know if I want to disconnect auto throttle today, but we'll go ahead and definitely disconnect the autopilot at 1,000 feet. I'm going to go ahead and set the landing speed on the auto throttle here, actually, 137 knots, so it drops us all the way down. So everything's pretty much good to go. We also have auto brake 2 selected in case the runway turns out to be too wet for us to slow down. And yeah, there's 1,180 feet. We're a little bit above the glide. I'm not really liking that too much. There we go. Now we're capturing the glide there. Perfect. So let's actually keep it to 142 feet. Disconnect the auto throttle, disconnect the autopilot. There we go. My aircraft. Alright, definitely flies weird, I have to say. That's okay, we're going to cope with it. 2 reds and 2 whites, maintain it. Don't lose the glide. Also, it's a big aircraft, so we're situated a little higher in the cockpit. You have to keep that in mind. It's not an A320 or 737. Wow, we're dropping our speed. Completely forgot to check that. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. Very unprofessional of me. Don't worry, we got it. Alright, let's go ahead and slow down. 142 feet, still maintaining. Now we're going to come down in the glide again. We have 3 whites, compensating for that. Let's go ahead and get the speed up a little bit more. 2 reds, 2 whites. Again, don't want to lose that. Continue. 300 feet. There we go, landing. Oh, we have an aircraft lining up. Is that a Cebu Pacific? I think it is.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Wow, that was a hard landing, and I think we're going to get a bounce there as well. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. That was not a very pleasant landing whatsoever. Versus active. There we go. reversers stowed, and there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Manila. Now, as for the bounce, you guys can say I was making excuses, but I was not prepared for the fact that this aircraft does not want to flare when you eventually cut the power all the way down. So, was not used to that, and I definitely don't think it was supposed to do that, but it did. So I guess that's again on the aircraft. I do know how to land an aircraft, especially when you're perfectly aligned on the glide slope and localizer. But unfortunately, it did not seem to work there. That's okay. We have a few bad landings here and there. We'll go ahead and... Does this aircraft want to take a left and go away from us, or what is it trying to do? Philippines Air? That's okay. So let's go ahead and take the speed brakes down. There we go. Flaps can come all the way back. We can take the clock to show that we are done with our flight. That was a 4 hours and 36 minutes total flight time. I think we're going to have to pass through you, buddy. I don't think you're deciding to move this A330 in front of us. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so I don't know why GSX is behaving or misbehaving in this case. We'll go ahead and start the APU. We'll also go ahead and take the wing light off, and we'll take the rest of the landing lights off, including the runway turn-off lights. We have already turned off the weather radar. We can turn off LNAV. I don't know if it's going to turn off. The approach mode can go off. The LNAV won't turn off for some reason. But yeah, if I had to say, it's a bit hit and miss, this aircraft. I really would love to inject some variety into the channel. However, it is very hit and miss for some reason. So GSX doesn't seem to be want to cooperate. That's supposed to be the international parking terminal. As you can see, there's an EVA Air here as well. But the international passenger terminal is over there, and those are all appropriate gates for me to take. And unfortunately, this GSX doesn't seem to be wanting to give me any of those gates. So let's see. Change parking facility. Let's say west parking. There's a heavy over here. So west park. Oh, maybe it's a west parking. So let's go ahead and take west parking 5.
The requested position is already assigned to another aircraft.
Yes, I want to take that position anyway. Request follow me. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I think this happens to be west parking 5. Let's go ahead and take... Are all of these taken? Wow. AIG traffic is really, really prominent at this airport, isn't it? Let's go ahead and see which one we can take. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so this has been a crazy merry-go-round that we've been performing at the airport just to be able to find a position. GSX and AIG traffic obviously are not doing a very harmonious job when it comes to finding me a damn parking space, but I'm just going to go ahead and park here. It says it's too small, but I think it should work. All of these huge aircraft, such as Qatar Airways and Cathay Pacific, are all parked at remote stands, which, you know, it's beyond me. But it's great to be able to see so much traffic and everything. But quite realistically, I would just like to park at a damn gate. So, for lack of... forgive my French, by the way. There's an EVA Air pushing off over there. But we're just going to go ahead and park here. And I'll be damned if anybody can stop us. Actually, I don't want to say that because that might just crash our sim. So, let's just go ahead and try parking here. Would be lovely if we could actually get this gate. Let's see if we know what this gate number is now. So this happens to be gate 11. Let's see if we can request GSX for gate 11 services at West Parking. So West Parking gate 8. Is that available? Change parking facility. West Parking. Give us gate 11.
The chosen position is too small for your aircraft.
That's okay. Can you just still give us the position? Yeah, it can. Oh wow, I should have just taken a damn position, honestly. Should not have cared about it. But that's okay. Now we're in. We're coming in. Let's go ahead and also turn off the taxi light. We're blinding the damn marshaller. Alrighty. Coming in. There we go. He's asking me to come in. Beautiful hand gestures. Should have just done this from the get-go, honestly. Here we go. Are you sure you don't want me to run you over, sir? Last time that's what happened at Edinburgh. I went too far. Last time I had the VDGS. This time it's literally a human being. Oh, this seems to be working. I'm about to ram you. For your own safety, I should slow down here. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and slow down before you tell me to. You were out of your depth. Alright, let's just go ahead and slow down, and let's go ahead and set the parking brake. And parking brake is set. APU is on. Let's go ahead and take the APU generators. External power for some reason is already on, so I don't know how that works. Let's go ahead and turn off both the engines. There we go. And seatbelt signs can come off.
This parking
Loading
is
GSX
too small
menu.
for your aircraft.
That is okay, GSX. You try your best. No worries. Let's go ahead and turn off the beacon light as well. And the clock... Well, yeah, we stopped that already. So it's 4 hours and 45 minutes was the total flight time. The real aircraft, as I said before, took... Let me just check. 4 hours and 53 minutes. So we are actually early. So that's probably the only good thing that happened all this flight. It was a 5-hour flight. I was just sitting there waiting for this damn thing to land. And we came in for a landing. We were all established. We finally found the localizer and glide slope. But in the end, the aircraft, I swear to God, it didn't let me flare. And I know how to flare an aircraft. Like at 30 feet, I was trying to pull the stick back all the way to flare it, but it just wasn't doing it. And the end result of that is that we slammed onto the runway, ended up bouncing and making a mockery of ourselves in front of all of these Cebu Pacific, Air Asia, and Philippines Airlines aircraft all around Manila Airport. So definitely have some sour memories with Manila. It's definitely going to be an airport we look down upon in the future when we have to ever come back to this place. But albeit, it was an interesting flight, and I'm glad to be able to bring an experience like this to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and more importantly to you folks over on the other side of YouTube. Now let's try something wild, because
This
GSX
parking
seems to
is
think...
too small for your aircraft.
Okay, I understood. Let's try deboarding.
The boarding
Let's try.
requested.
Okay. Oh, wow. You say it's too small for my aircraft, but it seems to me that this can connect. Or let's see if it does. We can also go ahead and request catering
This
services.
parking is too small for your aircraft.
I really need to be able to find a way to shut off this voice because it is driving me up the wall. I am not kidding. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on today's flight. As I said, it was a bit of an upsy-dowsy kind of flight. Of course, most of the other ones that I've done in this series are all very well planned. They, you know, I've already sort of sometimes practiced those routes before, so I know what I'm doing. This one was something I've never done before, an aircraft I've never flown before in between two very unfamiliar airports here in Asia. But I hope you guys enjoyed me taking a risk. I hope you guys enjoyed me trying to, like, you know, inject some more variety onto the channel.
Passengers,
if you guys want to see...
starting.
Okay, GSX, you literally, I'm about to quit this app so fast after this. But thank you so much for watching. If you guys want to see more content like this, make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and also hit that little bell icon right next to the subscribe button, excuse me, so that you can stay notified about every single video I upload on this channel. With that all said, thank you for joining me on this flight. Hope to see you in the next one as well. Thanks for flying by.